The Diamond Youth Transformation Initiative of Nigeria, DYTI, is a non-profit organization established with the aim to groom leaders of exceptional value that model integrity, competence, accountability in their specialized fields and organizational skills for both private and public sectors. Our core values remain excellence, integrity, compassion, accountability, and passion. DYTI periodically organize leadership trainings, workshops, summits for teams and individuals who desire to become agents of positive change in their communities, and is facilitated by a pool of exceptional and accomplished personalities from various disciplines and backgrounds. DYTI has trained and empowered women and youths within Nigeria and some African countries under the DYTI social projects. Nigerian Youth Decide, NYD, which is worthy of note, is an arm of DYTI which handles youth's active participation in the leadership of Nigeria with continuous awareness campaigns in the 36 states of Nigeria. One of the striking achievements of the NYD was the successful hosting of the Nigerian Youth National Presidential Debate 2019, which was recorded the best since the history of election debates in Nigeria. Other arms of DYTI include the Diamond Women Forum, Young Girls Leadership and Mentorship Forum, as well as the legal team, whose core duty is to educate the young people on their constitutional roles and rights, especially during elections. Drawing from the vision and mission of DYTI, our objectives for the African Youth Summit is to have representatives of diaspora youth platforms or organizations present their views to Africans on critical issues, dwelling on how to move African continent forward with emphasis on economy, education, and leadership. It also includes increasing the participation of young people in African cooperation, reinforcing youth employment, especially through creativity and productivity. This includes also looking at how we can develop a comprehensive understanding of the needs and challenges of young Africans, creating potential avenues for lasting solutions. DYTI see the need to cry out at this point in our lives as Africans and to call on all African leaders to critically consider the future and do something to make it better. Because we believe in our continent and the potentials it holds, we are hopeful that Africans can and will rebuild Africa, as no one can do it for us.
In this 24th for a proper and a thorough transformation. And one of those icons, son of the soil, is no less a person but Professor Lumumba of Kenya. He's a mentor to thousands and thousands of Africans out there. We are so proud of you, and we are so happy to have you today on our platform, the Diamond Youth Transformation Initiative. Professor Lumumba, your presence here today is to discuss about the continent, Africa, and how young people can transform their mindsets for a positive transformation that will advance our cause in international platform. Because today, if you're looking at the African itself, especially the Negro African, Africans from sub-Saharan Africa, with that Negro roots, we've been getting so much humiliation. Some of us who have traveled, studied overseas, humiliation, marginalization, racial discrimination, so on and so forth. But if you look at the problems of Africa, we have two facets of them. I can put it, we have the internal problem and we have the external problem. And the internal problem there is being filled by the external problem. But you know better than us. So we are giving you the platform right now, Professor Lumumba, to explain to us as Africans, what do you think and what exactly can we do as young people to transform the mindset of our same fellow Africans so we can have a continent that will stand the test of time in this 24th century? So, Mr. Professor Lumumba, a great man, we are welcoming you and we want to get from you, sir.
Yeah, first of all, let me say that I'll speak for only 10 minutes. It's late in the night here in Nairobi, Kenya, and therefore I'll not be available for more than 10 minutes. Okay. Let me first congratulate you for what you are doing and to say that this continent of Africa has had its fair share of problems, as indeed other continents. And the story of Africa is one that has been told and retold many times. Historians will have told us about how we were enslaved. Historians will keep on telling us how we were colonized. Historians will tell us how the neo-colonial project has remained alive. And historians will also tell us how the continent continues to be abused. And even contemporary historians will tell us how the Chinese are now present in the continent of Africa. But the most important thing that we must learn, problem there? Is there a problem?
Yeah. No problem, no problem. We're getting you loud and clear.
No.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, historians will also tell us how numerous our problems are. But yet there is a sense in which history has been consistent in what it tells our sons and daughters, that unless you have self-realization, unless you as a people are able to recognize and identify what it is that you want, you'll always be subjugated by other civilizations. And because I'm speaking to young people, my appeal to you this evening is to remind you that history has demonstrated that it is young people who lift societies to greatness. And that is the reality, even if you go down millennia. You young Africans must, in the nature of things, recognize that you have within yourselves the ability to grow Africa, to grow her in the critical areas that matter, to grow her in agriculture, to grow her in innovation and invention, to grow her in critical areas of industrialization, to grow her in the arts and in the culture. One of the things that makes me most unhappy in the African continent is that over the years, our minds have been captured. Every so often I look at the papers or the newspapers in Africa, and I see how gleefully our young men and women celebrate foreign artists. Young Africans claim they like football, but what they like is football made in England, made in Italy, made in Spain, made in Germany. That is a testament to our mental capture. I hear that African young men and women love theater, but what they love is Hollywood. They care not about what happens in Nollywood and Bongowood and Riverwood. In other words, we live in a world where young men and women have had their minds captured. And yet, the mind is the standard of the man and the woman. If your mind is captured, then you are going nowhere. So this evening, I need not belabor the issues. I only need to remind you that if this continent is to regain her greatness, and she can, it will be on your shoulders. We have lamented for too long. We must stop lamentation. We have cried for too long. We must stop crying. We have apologized for too long. We must stop apologizing. We have rationalized for too long. We must stop rationalizing. We have given ourselves too many excuses. As you sit wherever you are, remember that your competition is not going to be from within the continent of Africa. Your competition is from the United Kingdom, assuming it is still united. Your competition is from Europe, from Asia, from China, from the United States of America. The question is, are you prepared to compete? Or you are still prepared to support Arsenal and Barcelona and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich or PSG, say Paris Saint-Germain? If that is what you are going to celebrate, then I am afraid. And you, the young girls, if you are still prepared to celebrate young actresses in Hollywood, then I'm afraid. If our young women are still persuaded that they must still wear hair taken out of dead women in Asia and in Europe in order to look beautiful and to bleach their skins that they may look lighter, then I'm afraid. So today, it is your duty to liberate yourselves, to exorcise the ghosts of low self-esteem. Africans in their youth have demonstrated consistently at critical times that they are capable of doing the right thing. When we were fighting to regain our independence, it was young people who are in the process of that struggle. In South Africa, it was a younger Mandela, a younger Sisulu, a younger Subuku, a younger Pixley Kaisa Kaseme, a younger Chris Hani, a younger Tokyo Sekwale, a younger Tiro Ngopos, a younger Stephen Biko. In Namibia, it was a younger Sam Nuyoma, a younger Andy Mbatoivo Yatoivo. In Angola, it was a younger Agostino Neto. In Mozambique, it was a younger Samora Machel. In Zambia, it was a younger Kenneth Kaunda. And if you go up, it was a younger Nyerere, it was a younger Kenyatta, it was a younger Lumumba, it was a younger Obote, it was a younger Museveni, it's a younger Kagame, it is a younger Nkuruma, it is a younger Modibo, it is a younger Ahmed Ben Bella, it is a younger Tafawa Balewa, it is a younger group of people who are in the forefront of the struggle for independence. So you have no excuses. You have the intellectual wherewithal. You have the exposure. How are you going to use it? And remember that it's not only seeking the political kingdom is sought that we may gain the economic kingdom. What are we doing? Are you young people happy when Uber is the one that controls our taxis, a young man in the United States of America? Are you happy when a young person in Estonia is controlling our taxis, in Bangui in Central African Republic, in Johannesburg in South Africa? Are you happy when our food is Kentucky Fried Chicken? Are you happy when we are consuming McDonald's? Are you happy when our phones are Techno from China? Are you happy when Apple from the United States? Are you happy when Blue Blackberry from Canada is what we consume? Are you happy when all the cars that we drive are outside of this continent? Are you happy when the rice that we eat is outside of this continent? Are you happy when all these things that are being done are things that are not consumed? Are you happy when we produce what we do not consume and consume what we do not produce? Are you young people happy? Your question today is, how are we going to make this continent great? And if this continent is not great by your shoulders and by your effort, then this continent will be enslaved and colonized once again. So this evening, I only want to ask you one thing. How can it be that a continent that is so rich is so poor? How can it be that a continent that is so endowed is so subjugated? How can it be that a continent that has energetic people is so lethargic? How can it be that a continent that ought to be the leader is the follower? How can it be that a continent that ought to be in the forefront of human civilization is in the back burner of human civilization? How can it be? How can it be? The charge is yours today to take charge. Go out there and do that which is good and right. And there is no time to waste. How can it be that this great continent still looks to other civilization when our people are sick? She cannot cure herself. When our people are hungry, she cannot feed herself. When our people desire good things, she cannot get it from within her. And yet, throughout the ages, this is the continent which has been the focus of other civilizations. One can go on, but there is no wisdom in going on and on. We know that we have it within ourselves to make ourselves great. Because history has demonstrated, as I said, not once, not twice, but times without number, that our people always rise when a feeling of consciousness emerges from within themselves, and they are able to realize that when all the chips are down, they lift themselves by their bootstraps. Go out there and do it. It can be done, and it is you who must do it. God bless you.
God bless you, sir. You've touched millions of young Africans' mind. From what you've spoken, something so, I don't know how to put it. You've spoken well and you've discussed the problem we have in our continent. A continent that has everything but lacks almost everything at the same time. We have everything that will at least galvanize us to reach to that point of helping others. But we are yet to tap on what we have. Lumumba, we have so many problems in our community. Young people want to rise, they want to come. But we have different countries and different, how can I say, laws that restrict young people to come out and see how they can help their countries transform to that point. Let's take some of the biggest nations in Africa. Let's look at Nigeria. Nigeria, let me talk about West Africa and use Nigeria as a yardstick. Nigeria has for every 6 West Africans, almost 3 West Africans are coming from Nigeria. Nigeria has the power. It's a powerhouse, not only for West Africa, but for the whole of Africa. But if you go to the political system of Nigeria, what you see there, you see old men that will be in their retired home, that should be in their retired home and rest, and give chance to young people that have that 21st century zest, that 21st century spirit to see that they transform their nation. You transform Nigeria there, you will help younger or smaller nations like Liberia, Sierra Leone, the Gambia, Senegal as well. The same applies to East Africa. You have East Africa, we can say Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia. You cannot separate them in their numbers in terms of population and size. And if you have these bigger nations, they are not working to the interest of the younger people. Believe you me, we will continue to deliberate on the same food in the coming years. But as young people, young Africans, we want to see what we can do to transform mindsets of other Africans. For us, as I'm speaking here, a CEO of a big agricultural project in Sierra Leone here, I thought it fit that the politics we have in this nation, like you've been saying it from the videos I've watched, I've been following from you, it's a politics that is not based on policies. And I believe what is happening in Sierra Leone, in Nigeria, is what is happening in Kenya, in Tanzania, and even in South Africa. The politics that we play, that is being played by our elders, these old men, is a politics of what divide and conquer, and one that is based on regional and ethno-regional sentiments. They don't discuss policies. They discuss about which ethnic group should emerge as a leader. And if policies are not there, people are not going to the policies, what do you think our continent will get in the next coming years? And some of us are afraid because we love Africa so much. We've traveled, we've seen with our own eyes. We know that the only place I can enjoy, I've been in Kenya thrice. I was in Nairobi and nobody was looking at me because like I felt at home. In Ghana as well, I felt at home. I went to Rwanda, I felt at home. But as soon as I leave Africa for another continent, I'll not feel at home. Like I've got two of my guys. One was from Uganda. We are seated in a train in Beijing during the Ebola time. When we entered the train, as soon as we entered the train, the whole cabin, all of the Chinese, they left us. And we seated next to an old woman who was just sitting in that cabin. She also left us, thinking that we are Africans and we have diseases. So how can you help us by providing a recommendation on our problems? How can you help us as Africans? We got from you. What can we do? What can we do as young Africans to transform this nation? Because some very laws in different African countries, they restrict young people like us to participate. And we cannot transform Africa if we sit at the back. Let's look at loan. I'll use a typical example in my country, Sierra Leone. After independence, it is in this country, young people, they are afraid to give us loans. And I believe this is the same thing that is happening in other countries in Africa. When young people want to go for loans to transform themselves, they have the ideas. They want to create things that will transform this continent. We have seen several transformational drives. We want to come and implement them to our continent, but we don't have the finance, and we have the banks. These banks, young people will go for loans to say, okay, I want to buy tractors. I want to plow cassava farms, yams farms, rice farms, maize, and I want to make it to be a mechanized one and employ younger people. If you go for loans, they will not give it to you. And it will tell you that because if you take it, you go away from Africa. You just fly away. So how can you provide to us recommendations on how we can do as young people?
Let me tell you, you have it within you. If you have organized this online conference, that in itself is a demonstration that you have the necessary organizational ability. If you want to, I'm saying that if you want to demonstrate to yourself that you already are doing the right thing, the ability to organize and to coordinate this conference is in itself an indicator that you already know what to do. You're already networking. Your duty now is to ensure that this network is a network that catches the necessary fish. And some of us are ready and willing, and I believe able to support your ideas if those ideas are ideas that are going to transform you as individuals and to transform younger Africans. And I've traveled this continent. There is no shortage of men and women of goodwill who, if you have a bright idea, are going to come out and to support you. So lament no more, worry no more, just coordinate, define your ideas, have your vision, and remember that even a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single baby step. Identify what you want. If it is in the area of technology, identify what you need. If it is in the area of agriculture, identify what you need. If it is in the area of education, identify what you need. If it is in the area of innovation and invention, identify what you need. Lament no more. And I can assure you that we are ready, willing, and able to connect you with men and women of goodwill who will ensure that you realize what you want. And COVID, if it has any value to us, has now given us the opportunity to look inwards and to recognize that Africa need not go to Europe in order to achieve what she ought to achieve. You are in a good space. Lament no more. Work hard, and it shall be.
Thank you so much. Let's get question from the audience. Should you have any question, we have here our professor. Please, you can send your question and let's see how our professor will respond to it. Anyone with any question or suggestion or any deliberation on what our professor has said here tonight?
Mr. Lamrana, thank you very much. My name is Mohammed Suma. I have a question, but I think I came in very late and I want to have some idea first from Mr. Professor Lumumba before I can say something else, because I've been following him for a very long time, and he's somebody that I admired most. And let me say, I admire you too. Even today, I will say I want to call you Mr. Lambrana because I heard some of your audio today. And I wanted to call you later on, but I was so busy. So I said, when I have time, then I will try to get in touch with you. But the question I just want to ask Professor, is there any possibility, because he has traveled a lot and he has met with so many African leaders, is there any possibility for Africa to meet the Millennium Goals in 2025? This is my first question. And secondly, I want to know, from all where Professor Lumumba have traveled, which kind of governance system is operating in Africa? Because in America, we know America, they deal with a capitalist democratic system.
Capitalist democracy.
In China, we know they deal with a communist system. In Europe, as a whole, we know they deal with a social democratic system. I want to know exactly which system is operating in Africa, because Professor Lumumba has traveled, let me say, cut across Africa. And I just want him to know which system do he feel that is more good for Africa, that Africa should practice. Which kind of governance system that Africans should practice for Africa to meet the Millennium Development Goal? This is my question, sir. Mohammed Suma, thank you.
Mohammed, I hear you. Part of the African problem is that we have allowed ourselves to be defined and described by others. So we worry ourselves about things that Europe calls capitalism, things that Europe calls communism, things that they call socialism. But yet what I know is that a government is good, that which enables her people to express themselves, that which allows a people to realize the potential, that which allows people to be happy and to grow and to feed themselves and to heal themselves. If you want to give it a label, give it any label. You can call it African communalism, but I'm not one who is attracted to labels. I'm one who is attracted to what is good and just. You know, one of the things that I am happy about when I look at the 1776 American Declaration of Independence is when it said in some of the early opening statements that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that it is for this reason that governments are instituted amongst men to derive their just legitimacy from the people. And if they fail in this regard, it is the duty of the people to overthrow such government. Remember that when we talk about Africa today, we are not talking about one monolithic nation. We are talking about 55 countries which have suffered through colonization by the British, by the Portuguese, by the Spaniards, by the French, by the Italians, by the Germans, by the apartheid Dutch origin people who are brought by
working for China. I think we just have to like grasp it to develop ourselves. So can we have another suggestion question from another person?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah, Mr. Chizuka.
Fortune, talking from Nigeria. First of all, I want to appreciate Professor Lumumba for this wonderful opportunity. It has been a great time listening to him. It's one man I look up to because I believe Africa has what it takes to compete in the evolving world. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us today. Sir, with reference to Nigeria, where I am, I want to actually say that what the problem is not actually the system of governance, the system of government operating, but our problem is actually the people that are in charge. The problem of we Africans are the people in charge and not the system we operate. For instance, in Nigeria, the powers that be do not even support the youths. For instance, the Nigerian police, I'm sorry, I'm going to be very blunt. The Nigerian police that is supposed to protect the youths, instead of being the protector of the people, have turned to be attackers of the people. So it now goes beyond what we are saying ordinarily. Nigerian African youths are very nice. We have ideas. Technologically, we are good. In Africa, in Nigeria, here we have a young guy who is actually in manufacturing of cars. The Proforce industry, he manufactures defensive cars. But the fact is, the powers that we do not support us to grow. As a computer scientist that I am, the structure that is existing in Nigeria does not even want me to operate the laptop. So how do I go? So I think while we, the African youths, are gearing up to meet the global challenge, I think, sir, Professor Lumumba, you should help us also with your network, reach out to the powers that be, that they should come up with platforms to encourage the youth to do what they can do. Because whether we like it or not, 80% of what we can do as youth is dependent on the powers that be, the government that is on ground. But in Africa, it is evident that the government that is in power currently, they are not supporting us, they are not promoting the youth. They have been recycling the set of leaders. They have been recycling the set of old leaders. And they don't want us to access this place, this state of power, where we can make our innovative ideas. Okay? Because we live in an evolving world where we have experienced a paradigm shift from financial economy to an idea-based economy. And it is only a youth who understands the place of innovative and creative ideas that can make such policies that will support entrepreneurial spirit. But in Africa, we don't have it because they have been recycling the same old leaders. And when the youth try to talk, they suppress us with all power within their reach. In Nigeria, they use the DSS, they use the police to make sure that you're down, they throw you to an underground cell, you don't talk. So I think while we are getting up to this challenge.
I get your question. Let me tell you, Africa is the youngest continent on earth with an average age of 18. Uganda is the youngest African nation with an average age of 16. It means that the voting power is in the hands of young people. But what have young Africans allowed themselves to be used for? Cadres and militias by older people. You are complaining and you have the power. We saw recently in the Arab world, the young Arabs were not complaining in Tunisia. They went to the streets and they changed government. They changed government in Tunisia. They changed government in Egypt. They changed government in Sudan. They changed government in Algeria. They changed governments. It is your duty to do that. You use your power in an organized manner and very close to your own country. And the thing is still going on. How old is the leader of the military junta in Mali, 25 years of age. He's not complaining. He's joining the people and changing his country. How old was Valentin Strasser in Sierra Leone when he took over power? 25 years. How old was Martin Luther King Jr. when he led the civil rights movement? He was in his 20s. He was not complaining. The problem with young people in Africa is that you are in the business of complaining. You are not in the business of organizing. If you organize yourself, you can elect anybody you want. But as long as you allow yourself to be used by adults, being given money they have stolen, then you are always going to complain. Rise up, take charge, vote the right men and women into office, and make demands of them. This thing that we call democracy not only requires but demands that you are vigilant and that you make demands of yourself. See what is happening in Europe, in Belarus. They have been in the streets for the last many weeks. They want new leaders and they are not leaving the streets. What are you doing? You are the authors of your own misfortune because you choose to drive a bus and to ride in a bus that is perpetual complaint. You are not doing the right thing. Rise up.
This professor, you are the best in the world.
Thank you very much for the justice to the question, sir.
What are we doing? What are we doing? This is a very
Mr. Fortune, I think Professor has hammered the question direct. He
has done justice to it.
You know, he elaborated by giving us sample illustrations. So we as young people, we have to get up and do the needful. And do we have any other person again? It's late there in Kenya, so we want our professor to rest. Do we have other questions there? Suggestion from other person?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Mr. Lambrano?
Yeah. I'm getting you, Mr. Waniwa.
Yes. Can I ask the question? I'm the one who typed the question this side. I thought maybe you could read from that side, but let me just try to summarize it. First of all, let me take this time to thank you for organizing this, also to thank Professor Lumumba for hosting such an enlightening meeting to the youth of this continent. What I wanted Prof to address or to respond to is the issue of politics in line with our desire to contribute meaningfully to the development of Africa. Because if you look at the African continent, the youth, we have got the potential. We have got the potential to play a major role, to play an important role in the development of this country, in the development of this continent. But when you look at the role played by politics, there's one of the factors that always keeps us back because if I quote because I follow Professor Lumumba, one of his words he once said, because I always watch most of the speeches that he said, when he once said that the leaders of today or politicians, they always tell us that we are leaders of tomorrow, yet they know that the tomorrow they're talking about will never come. So because there are still the same people who are leading us, making policies and laws, and some of these policies and laws are the ones which keeps us off, even if we want to really play a meaningful role in the development of our continent. So I was just asking Prof to advise me with regard to that. Thank you very much.
I personally became a student leader at the university at age 22, and I've never stopped. From 1984 to date, I've been saying the same things, doing what I can, and I'm not in the business. I speak and do, because history only favors those who speak and do. So what I would advise you to do wherever you are, whether you are in Abuja in Nigeria, or Lagos in Nigeria, or Freetown in Sierra Leone, or in Kampala in Uganda, or in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, you will only be listened to if you are organized, if you are part of a team, if you are part of a team that knows what it wants to do and are moving in the direction of doing it. It is not going to be easy. It is not going to be for the faint-hearted. There'll be many critics and there'll be many people who want to undermine you and to eliminate you. But you must remain consistent, because when you are part of a team, that team can never be killed. So my advice to you, identify the problem, and we have already identified the problem. Identify the solution, and we have already identified the solution. Identify members of your team, and perhaps that is what you need to do. Identify your strategy, define your tactics, and define your agenda, and move towards your agenda with the enthusiasm and the energy that is necessary. And I can tell you that you'll achieve your goal. And even if you don't achieve your goal in your lifetime, members of your team will achieve their goal, because ultimately it is not you who must achieve the goal, but it's your team that must achieve the goal. And I'm very happy that today you are gathered here and you are represented by different people from different countries. This is the beginning of it. This is the beginning of telling the Cameroonians who are present in the room that the Biya administration may be oppressive, but it will go. This is the day when you must tell the Ouattara regime that it will go, because leadership is only as good as the opportunities that it creates and the environment that it creates to enable her people to thrive and to do that which improves the quality of their lives. Lament no more, work, and I can assure you that it will be well. All these leaders who think that they are demigods who cannot be removed, we have removed them. Africa has removed the Mobutus, the Bokassas, the Keitas, the Hissène Habres, the Mengistu Haile Mariams, the Mugabes. Don't despair. You will do it.
Very good. Very good response. Thank you so much, Professor. Do we have another suggestion or a question from any other person?
Just one question, if I may ask.
Okay.
My name is Kay Akintemi. I'm the Managing Director of Plus TV Africa. We're broadcasting to 36 countries in Africa on DSTV channel 408. I call myself a millennial by virtue of the fact that I have a heart for young people, and that's why I have chosen to join this platform, as well as to promise the young people who contacted me about this event. And I told them that we're going to broadcast this on our platform, which means that people in Kenya, in Botswana, in Uganda, and all across 36 countries in Africa that we broadcast to, they will be able to watch this conversation with Professor Lumumba. Now, two things I will very quickly mention is the fact that just recently, I was in another forum organized by young people with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria. And he said very clearly, he said that there is not going to be a way for young people to become the leader of Nigeria unless they make up their mind and they go for it. Nobody is going to give them power. Nobody will Nigeria is that for power to be handed over to them, they're living in dreamland. Now, if this is the case, we have young people on this platform who are still moaning and groaning about the fact that power will not be handed over to them and they're not giving opportunity. Let me ask Professor Lumumba, how will young people begin to get it into their head on this continent and realize that, like what is happening in Finland, even in France, with a young person becoming the president in France, Tony Blair became president at a very young age, and a number of them across the world. What is it that we have to do? Is it with the quality of our education that will change the minds of our young people to realize that they're not victims? They're not meant to sit back and complain and moan about their opportunities. What do we need to get into their head to get them to realize that they are not victims, and they have a good chance of going out, whether it's through a revolution, whether violent or not, or it's going to be a case of organizing themselves to chase that which they desire and fulfill their purpose and achieve the dream for Africa.
You know, you have spoken like 1,000 men and women because you have hit the nail on the head. And my good friend Olusegun Obasanjo is completely right. You must, in the nature of things, organize. And if you organize, the demography is in your favor. You know, the problem that we have in Africa is that young Africans are still beholden to octogenarians who are past their sell-by political dates. You find young people being organized by a 70-year-old, and they believe that that 70-year-old represents the future. If you look at many African countries, in Kenya, you find fellows who have been in the political arena for 40 years, still telling people that they are the ones who are going to lead them in some direction. You go to Uganda, the same thing. You go to Zimbabwe, the same thing. What I'm telling young people, organize. Once you organize, use your demographic powers to make change. And you are saying something that is very critical. We must decolonize our minds. We must re-educate our miseducated minds. We must de-ethnicize our agenda, because these octogenarians confuse us by telling us because they come from our ethnic groups, therefore they organize us around ethnicity. We must stop them because they have nothing to offer us. And if you do so, and he has given a very good example, go to the Scandinavian countries, go to Sweden, go to Denmark, go to Finland, and you will find that the average age of leadership in those countries is 35. In Africa here, you have somebody who is 75 years of age telling us that he's the one who knows what the future holds, and he has been here for a long time. Consign that dinosaur to the Museum of History so that he can be an advisor, not telling us what the future holds. Look at Ouattara, look at Biya, look at all these individuals, and yet you are complaining and you have the vote. Organize, organize. Olusegun Obasanjo was right, organize. And I'm not saying that older people should not be in the political arena, but they should be in the minority. They should be in the minority at advisory levels, and if they are in active political levels, they should be outnumbered by younger people. It is your duty to ensure that this is achieved, and you can achieve it. When Paul Kagame took over power in Rwanda, how old was he? When Yoweri Kaguta Museveni took over power in Uganda, how old was he? When Meles Zenawi took over power in Ethiopia, how old was he? When Samora Moises Machel took over power in Mozambique, how old was he? When Sam Nujoma took over power in Namibia, how old was he? When Skama took over power in Botswana, how old was he? They were in their 30s. And then these fellows, when they get into power, they don't want to get out of there. Remove them. And the vote is how you will remove them. And we have examples which are live. Omar al-Bashir in Sudan thought he was immovable. He was moved, he's now in jail. Hissène Habré thought he was immovable. He was moved, he's now in jail in Senegal. Mengistu Haile Mariam thought he was immovable. He is now out and in exile in Zimbabwe. They can't be moved. Let us move these dinosaurs through organization. It is only then that they will realize that leadership is co-generational and intergenerational and a relay race, because some of them think they are demigods. Let us remind them that they are not demigods. Some of them suffer from the Jehovah complex. Let us cure them. Some of them suffer from the Martyr complex. Let us cure them. It is our duty to cure them, and cure them you will if you are organized.
Very, very good response. Very, very good response. Kill them. Very, very good response. Can we have from another person again?
Yeah.
Any other question, response? Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm John from Nigeria. Hello.
Yeah, we're getting you. Yeah,
Okay, I'm John from Nigeria. Yeah. I just want to make a contribution to this. I'm John Oga. I'm popularly known as the Nigerian Dream. I'm from Cross River State, Nigeria. I love exactly what the speaker, who I have a very big reverence for, said about the youth here, and I want to make a contribution to the youth here. I am now, as I'm currently, I am going into an election to contest an election here. I'm a very young man. I put pressure on the system. Actually, my state government, you know the nature of Nigeria, where the governor comes from, even though no other person can dare speak from there, especially when you are from another platform. And since they will not give opportunity to young persons, I am on another platform to contest from that place, from the particular zone. And I was being advised by elders and many other political stalwarts that I should not go into that race. I cannot win, no matter how popular and no matter how loved you are, you cannot win. And most of them took to me, and they have been giving me negative thoughts. Even the young people, some of them have started with trying to speak the same direction. But I kept hitting. I'm still hitting. I'm very positive I'm going to win that elections. But I just want to make an encouragement that something happened. A very close friend to the governor who said I can never make it. He has been hitting hard that I should stop. I should go to sleep. I cannot have the money to fight the governor, and I cannot have this. I said, I'm not fighting anybody. I'm coming there to represent a demographic of people. And day before yesterday or yesterday, he called me and told me that he's moved and he's seen something. He feels positive that something can happen from this. So he was going to print all my billboards and posters for me. So I was going to do that for me. And the same person that was standing against me, no matter the situation that presents itself, that the youths are disadvantaged when it comes to financing, because we know in Africa, yes, money politics, they do. Even the military now have been corrupted by money, so they use them to oppress the young ones. But if you keep hitting, and you are resolute that you want to do something that is different, the nature comes back to support you. And most of these people that stood against you, somehow they find a way to support you. So that is just my contribution to this matter right now. Thank you.
I would love to get in touch with you. I hope that Jana will give you my contact so that we get in touch, and in whatever way we can, even if it is a cent, we offer to you. That is the kind of energy and that is the kind of effort that we want to hear. There'll be many naysayers, but go out there. You cannot fail without trying. And failure is part of success anyway.
Yes, sir.
So thank you very much. It is getting late here in Nairobi, Kenya. I wish you the very best. And let us ensure that this particular process does not stop. Our good friend who is in charge of the TV, I must congratulate you, because what you are doing is great. You are giving voice and the oxygen of publicity to initiatives such as this. You are not in the business of complaining. I want to hear by next year that you are present in all the 55 African countries and all over the world. That is what we want. And I will be watching this TV on channel 408 as a means of encouragement. That is the kind of thing that we want to do. And I have no doubt that when we have men and women such as yourself, young people will realize their potential.
Thank you very much,
Prof.
Thank you
so much, Professor Lumumba. We are very much appreciative. We appreciate you so much continue to fight for our continent, continue to inspire young people, continue to be there when we have no hope. You are a great man, you are an icon, and you are the living modern African icons that we do rely on. You are a mentor. Continue to be that great man that the continent will be proud of. We appreciate you so much leaving your busy schedule to talk to us and discuss with us and explain to us exactly what we need as Africans. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you very much, and stay safe.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Lamrana, thank you very much for hosting us, and God bless each and everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
We have lapses with the time. We are
Arise and shine, for there's a brighter day coming your way.
The Diamond Youth Transformation.